Hey, I'm Peter Bukowski, host of the Locked On Today podcast. Trying to stay on top of every big story in sports is a full-time job. I know, because it is my full-time job, but it's not yours. That's why we have a network of local experts ready to give you the inside scoop on everything you truly need to know in the sports world, and we do it every day to make sure you're always caught up on the latest and greatest in sports. Listen to the Locked On Today podcast every day on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts.
Odyssey's going back to school, and we've got all the supplies you need, like A+ exclusive music stations and podcasts to help you or your student excel. Wake up and get the school day started with Acoustic Sunrise, the best mix of acoustic pop. Hit the books with Classical Odyssey, passionate classical music to help you focus while you study. Listen to essential school podcasts like Grammar Girl's Quick and Dirty Tips for Better Writing, and be inspired with TED Talks Daily. Get back to school with new exclusive stations, plus all your favorite local radio stations and podcasts on Odyssey.
Sports Radio 610 presents In the Loop with John Lopez and Landry Lyon.
After he threw that interception here in Norman.
Take a listen. The chant is, "We want Caleb."
As in Caleb Williams, the backup quarterback.
True freshman.
Who was the #1 ranked high school dual threat quarterback in the nation. He didn't play last year. The school that he played, they didn't play football. But he's a very, very talented guy. In fact, Lincoln Riley told us this week, he's very, very gifted.
Spencer Rattler. They're already calling for the backup in Norman. We'll get into the state of rookie quarterbacks heading into 2022 with John McClain in leg hiking. But, John, you had something interesting to say, Lopez. You had something interesting to say about the patience that is being asked of Texans fans, and you wonder what it's going to look like later on. Explain that to John McClain, and I'm intrigued to hear what the general has to say about that, presented by Horn Solutions.
I am too. The more I look at rookie quarterbacks, John, this year, starting rookie, just for a little background for you and of course for our listeners.
I wrote about it today with all the numbers.
Yeah. Starting rookie quarterbacks are 1-10 this season. Trevor Lawrence 0-3, Zach Wilson 0-3, Justin Fields 0-1, Mac Jones 1-2, and Davis Mills is 0-1. 4 of those guys are first-round picks, and they're surrounded by lesser talent. So my point is this, and what I want you to comment on is the only rookie quarterback in the last couple of years that just stepped right in and just immediately just looked like a vet and comfortable was Justin Herbert. But he had Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler. So what I'm thinking is I'm really starting to lean toward changing my mind. I've been saying draft a quarterback next year no matter what Davis Mills looks like. Just get your guy, find your guy, identify him, and draft him. I'm kind of leaning toward wait at least another year because you have to surround this guy with some talent before you throw a rookie quarterback out there. We're seeing it in living color this year around the league.
Well, first of all, if you find somebody you like, you get him immediately because there's no guarantee there's going to be one the next year.
Right.
And those rookie quarterbacks this weekend lost by 15, 12, 26, 20, and 15. That's an average score of 27.9. And they've combined for 11 touchdown passes, 19 interceptions, and they're all struggling. Some of them don't have good coaches. Some of them, like Matt Nagy, the coach of the Bears, did a terrible coaching job with Justin Fields, who was sacked 9 times, 4.5 times by Myles Garrett, 2 by Jadeveon Clowney. It's like the Bears didn't even watch the Browns game against the Texans when Garrett didn't do squat and Clowney had 2 quarterback hits and no sacks, and that was just bad coaching, period. And so I think if you got a guy you like, whether it's Mills, whether it's somebody else, you get him and you build around him. And I'm assuming that Deshaun Watson would be traded by the next draft, and they would have at least 1, maybe 2s, so they could use that on other players. Plus, they'll have more money in free agency. And so, I don't think you ever say wait if you have a guy you think can be the guy. And it's way too early to know about those college guys. This time last year, nobody knew who Zach Wilson was. The only one we really knew were Lawrence and Fields. Nobody was paying attention to Trey Lance, who played 1 game, and that was it. So much can happen, and it's Scouts say it's not true, but it is. They part of the scouting process is what they did in college, but they pay so much more attention to what they do running around in shorts and T-shirts and all the things that they do after the college season.
John McClain with us, presented by Horn Solutions on Sports Radio 610. Texans, Bills, Sunday noon, right here. So what if there isn't a quarterback? Let's say it all shapes up.
One. You don't do it.
Okay, then what? Is it going to be Davis Mills' team, or do you think they bring back
maybe
Terod?
there's a trade like Sam Darnold. Maybe there's a free agent. You just never know. But you're not going to reach for somebody. And if you say Mills was the guy, or they traded for somebody and they had their number one pick and it was second or third, they could trade down and pick up extra picks for position players and help the rebuild be jump-started quicker. Because next year is when they're going to get younger, when they got their draft choices and hopefully some others for Watson. That's when they'll get younger as opposed to older this season.
I ask that because I get it, and I'm the last person that wants to reach for a quarterback, but I've also been to 2 Texans games this year, and I've noticed that the buzz is the least amount of buzz that I've ever seen in that
because the
stadium.
Expectations were so low. Why would anybody expect anything different?
Well, what are they supposed to get excited about there?
Nothing. The high number one pick.
So nothing?
Well, what is it? Davis Mills, they beat Tyrod Taylor, was playing really well. That was, I think most of us think they could have beaten Cleveland.
I think
might
they
have
would have.
beaten Carolina. That would have been exciting if they'd started fast, but people had such low expectations, not just locally, but around the league. So anything is almost like it's gravy. And wait till they play the Jets, and it's Zach Wilson versus Davis Mills, although it might be Zach Wilson versus Tyrod Taylor.
Is it really gravy, though? Because gravy, you don't even have mashed potatoes right now. Like when you say gravy is like it's already really good, and it just got better with gravy. Like I can eat some mashed potatoes. You just said you
thought they would have beaten Cleveland with Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, but
so when Tyrod comes
back,
you think they might be able to win a couple games?
I don't know, and I'm glad you asked that question, because if Davis Mills, let's say Davis Mills improves the next 3 weeks. Let's say he looks better against Buffalo. Let's say they beat New England. And then let's say that Davis Mills is looking better and better, and he's looking more and more like a guy that you might have something with. What's the point of putting Tyrod Taylor back in at this point?
You'd keep going with Mills.
You think they would?
I think that you better, because Mills could be the future, or he affects the future. What he does impacts the 2022 draft totally.
Mm-hmm. So you think that if Davis Mills plays well, he's not going to give the job back?
No, I think if he plays well, they're going to stick with him.
Okay.
Tyrod knew that he came in here as a placeholder. He's used to it. That's the situation in Cleveland, the situation with the Chargers, and the situation here, because he knew at some point Mills was going to play, probably late in the season, because they had to get a look at him. They're just having to look at him earlier than they wanted to.
How much of the ineffectiveness of running the ball has to do with
humongous.
Well, how much does it have to do with the running backs themselves?
If you look at those guys, Mark Ingram is like a plow horse.
Yeah.
His first 2 carries on the second series were for 6 and 6 yards, and I thought, wow, they're going to be able to run the ball. And then they didn't do squat after that. David Johnson hadn't done squat. Philip Lindsay hadn't done squat as a runner, but he showed in Cleveland on the screen pass he can be elusive if he's got the ball in space. They can't get it in space, and the linemen have not done a good job run blocking.
So no real running game, which we've acknowledged. Passing game is at best Brandon Cooks, and we'll see. So what can the Texans really find out about Davis Mills if they're going to be losing games? He's not going to be complimented, and all you're going to do is just evaluate him like almost in a bubble.
Well, sometimes you learn about people and situations as much from failure as success. How he handles himself if they're losing, how he bounces back from an interception, how he bounces back from a 3 and out. He's got to show steady improvement. They see him behind the scenes. We don't. They see him in meetings, studying for the game plan, asking questions, answering questions, and then, of course, at practice. And if he hits a wall, then he's got to sit down and bring back Tyrod. But I think I'm guessing that Tyrod, it was. I remember writing it could be up to 4 weeks. Cully said yesterday it was 2 to 4 weeks. He's got to miss So they put him on ours, so he's going to miss at least 3 games. That means this one, and New England. I don't even know. Is it Indy after New England?
It goes Buffalo, New England, Indianapolis.
Okay,
yes.
so he'd be eligible to play against Indianapolis. And, the Colts, of course, are 0-3. They have a brutal schedule like the Texans had last year. So I'm guessing that Mills, with this schedule, I don't expect him to do anything against Buffalo. Now, New England, Mac Jones, another rookie. He's won 1 game against the Jets. And that's going to be fun to watch the 2 rookie quarterbacks and see which one struggles the least.
Do you think the NFL is softening up the Patriots for the Texans? Not intentionally. I'm just looking at a potential win, and I'm looking at how Mac Jones has looked, and I'm looking at all this hype. I think this is the most hyped up regular season game of my lifetime. Tom Brady going back to New England. I mean, do you disagree?
No, I'm thinking there have been games like that. Brett Favre going back to Green Bay was pretty big.
That ain't this big.
This one's big in New England.
It's
I'm
on
not
Sunday
hearing a lot
night.
of buzz about it around the league like I thought I would since they lost. But in New England, of course, it's humongous.
What do you mean you're not hearing a lot of buzz? They did a whole Adele presentation. Looked like a Lion King movie trailer.
That was done last week to get ready for the.
They're doing it a week before. They're getting ready. This is
Brett Favre
hyped.
back to Green Bay was pretty big.
Not this big. I remember that. It wasn't this big.
You act like it was nothing.
Well, you're kind of parsing. It's huge. I mean,
of course it's huge.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be bigger if Brady was. If he was 3-0 and the Patriots were
I don't
better.
think the record has anything
The
to do with
Patriots
it.
are terrible.
Yeah.
It's going to be a blowout. So that's why I don't care about it near as much as I would if the Patriots were good.
Why are you doing this?
Because I'm telling you the truth.
You are lying out of your teeth. You know damn well how.
One thing
this
I'm not,
is.
Landry, is a liar.
But
There you
you're
go.
all right. You're
I am not a liar.
You're being grumpy
Never
right
have
now.
been.
Disagreeing. This is a
I'm
hyped
telling
up
you
game.
the truth, and you don't like it. So what?
So the NFL.
Well, it's an opinion.
All right. Well, in New England, even New England coming back, like New England is going to. They're going through all this drama. They're playing one of the best teams in the
and
NFL.
they're
Don't you think they
terrible.
could be softened up next Sunday? Are you going to pick the Texans to have a chance to beat the Patriots next week?
I don't know. Depends on how they play against Buffalo. If they get killed by Buffalo, no, I'll pick them to lose.
Well, come on. You know they're going to get killed by Buffalo. It's a 17.5 point
Depends on
spread.
how they play. You want me to pick the Texans? What's the point here?
No, I'm just.
You want me to pick the Texans?
I think the New England game is stacking up decent for the Texans.
Well, I picked them to beat the Patriots before the season, but that was with Tyrod.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't think Davis can get it done?
I don't know. I have to see how he plays against Buffalo.
Do you think that Davis Mills surpassed your expectations last Thursday?
The only thing he didn't do that I thought that he would do was he didn't turn it over. And one of the reasons they played very conservatively. Now, he could have had a ball ricochet off somebody, could have had a bad pass over the middle. So I'm surprised that he didn't turn it over.
What?
And two scoring drills, 1 touchdown, 1 field goal. That wasn't enough. But I didn't have high expectations for him.
Do you? What do you think of the attendance that was on display? Did you think there were really 68,000 in the seat?
No,
in the
those are
stands?
tickets sold. They're not actual fans in the stadium.
How many would you have guessed were in the
I have
stadium?
no idea because I can't see the whole side under me.
Has Cal noticed any of this stuff?
Who?
I know he has.
Cal
It's kind of
McNair?
rhetorical.
Of course he knows that.
Well, has he noticed, 20 years of nothing but sellouts and now 2
Of course
that
he
aren't?
does. He knew there were low expectations.
Lots of season tickets
But he
sold,
believes that
and now there's not.
Casario knows what he's doing with the roster and can win a Super Bowl.
But this team has been in transition before
Yes, it has.
and still sold out and had season tickets and
Yep,
waiting lists
they
and
did.
all that. So he
Just
doesn't.
everything
He
around
hasn't
this
put
team
2 and 2 together.
has been negative,
right.
starting with the Watson stuff. If Watson never had any legal issues and wanted to be traded, would they have sold all these tickets for these games? I'm guessing yes.
I honestly don't think. Well, Watson not being
Now,
here.
people not showing up is different. They always sold out,
Right.
but they always had no shows. And this year, I saw the other side. I've not seen anything underneath the press box. I don't know how many people were there.
The thing though, see what you just said. I don't know that that's right because you're saying that if the Watson had never had this legal stuff and they traded him, then everyone would just be
No,
like,
if he
"That's
had
cool."
never been traded, I said.
Yeah.
Oh, never been traded.
No, if he's playing.
Okay, if he was playing, I thought you were saying if they
No,
traded
I
him
said-
and moved on.
I said if Watson was playing.
Okay, yeah, that
And
is
there
a-
never been any legal issue. I
Yeah.
think they would have sold out every game.
Yeah, the buzz is kind of dying down. Landry Locker, John Lopez, Figgy Fig with you here on Houston Sports Leader Sports Radio 610. World famous McLean leg hiking coming up next.
You want to know what wagertainment is? It's the picks, the analysis, the information, mixed with the laughter and the entertainment. Smart sports betting content that'll put a smile on your face.
The BetQL Network, streaming live each day and helping you bet smarter.
If you're a sports fan, you know why you should listen. It's sports betting content without the BS. No hot takes, no nonsense.
The BetQL Network, streaming live right now on Odyssey.
Sports, bets, and entertainment.
Hey, I'm Peter Bukowski, host of the Locked On Today podcast. Trying to stay on top of every big story in sports is a full-time job. I know, because it is my full-time job. But it's not yours. That's why we have a network of local experts ready to give you the inside scoop on everything you truly need to know in the sports world. And we do it every day to make sure you're always caught up on the latest and greatest in sports. Listen to the Locked On Today podcast every day on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts.
I'm Doc Rivers, and I'm proud to present a new podcast documentary series called It Was Said Sports, where I guide you through 6 of the most impactful and timeless speeches in sports history. Listen and follow It Was Said Sports, a documentary podcast presentation of Shining City Audio, a C13 Originals, and John Meacham Studio. Available now on Odyssey and wherever you listen to your podcasts.
John McClain saying, "Thank you, faggy."
Live from the Twin Peaks studios, Sports Radio 610 presents In the Loop with John Lopez and Landry Locker.
All right, Texans plus 17.5. The Texans will cover the spread Sunday in Buffalo.
I get Figgy.
Wow. What if it goes up to 20?
Boy, I think they're going to get blown out because the Bills just blew out Washington, and Washington's got a better team, and so I think they're going to. Well, I don't know what I'm going to pick.
So tease it up to 20.
Whatever, it's 17. Hike it, Figgy.
John McClain says tease it up to 20.
Tease it up to 20. There you go. Davis Mills will start at least 13 games this year.
Let's see if he starts 3 more than Tyrod. Hike it, Figgy.
The Texans should avoid drafting a quarterback in the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft.
Hike it, Figgy.
It's on a roll. Deshaun Watson will be traded by November 2nd.
Hike it, Figgy.
This is Frank Reich talking about the Colts following their third loss to start the season.
Difficult loss, a heartbreaking loss, road division game against a good football team. It's a 60-minute game, so every play matters, but then it really matters in the fourth quarter. So we just didn't have enough. Credit to the Titans and to Coach Vrabel. I have full confidence and belief in the players that we have, the coaching staff that we have. Zero doubt. Right now, all that matters is the Miami Dolphins.
The Indianapolis Colts are setting up to be the biggest disappointment of the 2021 NFL season.
I think the Chiefs will bounce back. Colts, Carson Wentz. I'll have to agree. They're 0-3 for the first time since 2011, the year before they drafted Andrew Luck, and they just lost in Nashville for the first time since 2017.
Davis Mills will throw at least 2 interceptions this week.
I agree.
Ooh.
The Tampa Bay Bucks will soften up the Patriots for their trip to NRG 2 Sundays
There
from now.
will be a letdown by the Patriots having to come down here and play the Texans after playing the biggest game in the history of sports at any level. Is that about right?
See?
You came around. Cover it?
You came around.
It's the most anticipated regular season game of my lifetime. That's what I said.
And it is. You're right. It is.
But all right. You tried to go Brett Favre on me.
It's just not as big as I thought it'd be because the Patriots are so bad.
Brandon Cooks will be traded by November 2nd.
Hike it, Figgy, 2 times.
An all-LA Super Bowl, world-famous McLean leg hiking here on Sports Radio 610, presented by Horn Solutions. An all-LA Super Bowl would be one of the best things for the NFL.
Hike it, Figgy, absolutely not.
No Chargers-Rams?
No Chargers.
In LA?
Rams, yes.
You
not
don't think
the Chargers,
Rams in LA and the buzz in LA and turning LA
Who gives
into
a
an
damn
NFL city?
about the buzz in LA? First of all, there's no buzz in LA for the Chargers. Only for the Rams.
Well, if they go to the Super Bowl, there will be. I would
yeah,
assume.
they don't want 2 teams from L.A. in the Super Bowl.
In L.A.
When nobody rest of the country wouldn't give a damn.
Oh, yeah, they would. How'd the Chargers do last weekend?
They won.
Beat
the
play?
Chiefs.
Oh, that's right.
But don't you? The NFL has been trying to force this L.A. for a long time. wouldn't generating that type
You're not
going to
change my mind on that.
Well, I want you to tell me why.
Because nobody cares about the Chargers. And if the Chargers are in the Super Bowl, there just wouldn't be any interest in the East Coast and the Midwest. Rams, yes, not the Chargers.
It's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, some Super Bowls get less ratings than others.
All right. You are on it today, John.
You can put any team in the Super Bowl and it's going to get the best ratings. But as far as being the best game with the most interest, Chargers, no.
Wouldn't that just be like LA becoming an NFL city, though?
LA's been an NFL city for decades.
But you know what I mean. Like, it's not.
No. No. Hike it again, Figgy.
The Cowboys cannot win a Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy.
I agree with that. Last night, boy, he did some things that were curious, and he can't like having Peyton Manning second-guessing him like he did.
How about Joe Buck?
Yeah, Joe Buck, but Peyton knows a little more than Joe Buck.
Yeah. Former Texans defensive coordinator Vic Fangio's Broncos are a fraudulent 3-0.
Absolutely. They've beaten 3 winless teams. Now, if they beat Baltimore, they'll start to get some respect.
LeBron James would have been a Hall of Fame tight end.
No, hike it, Figgy.
I know where this is
He'd
going.
have been the best player on the team's basketball team.
The most angry tweet from John McClain, and there's a lot of them, was directed at CBS. The NFL screwed up not showing Titans-Colts and instead showing Chargers versus Chiefs.
And now people are saying, see how you were wrong? I say it's before the game. I'm not doing hindsight. You got the Texans, 2 division rivals, and then you could put Buffalo on there, who they put last. And I know why they did it, because they think everybody'd rather see Mahomes, and it was a great game.
Yeah.
It was still the wrong decision.
No.
Oh, man, come on.
Yes.
No. They don't have a chance in the division. Why do I need to scout the Colts and Titans? I want to watch Mahomes versus Herbert.
Well, get the Sunday ticket.
I don't need it. You need
go
it.
To a sports bar.
You're the one who needs it. Your game won 9. I'm fine.
Who
I can
cares
stick with the
about
normal.
the Chiefs and the Chargers here?
Come on. What do you mean, who cares?
People care a lot more about the Titans and the Colts.
Cut the music for just a second. Just a second.
Oh, yeah.
How do you not have NFL Sunday ticket
I
of
do.
all people?
I do.
Oh, so you were watching it and still complaining?
No, I was talking about Channel 11.
CBS.
But you could have watched the game anyways.
Doesn't have anything to do jack with squat.
Oh my gosh! So you were just doing that for the people?
I was doing that because I
He's a
thought
man
it
of the
was.
people.
I gave him an F-.
That's right.
You better be glad I don't grade your show every day.
Wait, you pretty much are. I'm pretty wet over here. So you were actually watching the game, and you're just such a man of the people that you were speaking for the people that wanted to watch the old Oilers and Colts.
No, I don't give a damn about the people. I'm thinking that's the game they should have put on.
How do you have NFL Sunday ticket? That's a lie. He cares
I pay
about
for
the people. No, how do you have
That's
NFL?
how I have it.
No, how do you have NFL Sunday ticket but you don't have but you have such a small TV?
I can still see it when I'm right on top of it.
When are we going to get you that big TV?
I don't know. Whenever you're ready, let me know, and I'll go pick one out and send you the bill. Actually, we're on the verge of buying 2, just not for my home air.
Oh, wow. That's a humble brag right there. Which
Patriots
home? Which
fan-
home are you going with? Which home?
Well, I got 2 others, so I'm buying 2.
Patriots fans will mostly boo Tom Brady.
No, they'll cheer him at first. They'll have a great video tribute for him. The fans will give him incredible ovation every time he comes on the field. And then when the game starts, then they'll cheer for the Patriots.
Texas A&M was premature in thinking that they are a top-tier SEC team.
No, I think they're still a top-tier SEC team. They lost a quarterback. They've lost players in the offensive line.
Thank you.
But they still can win and do the same things they've done the last couple of years when they lost but still finished high.
The Astros will not get past the first round of the postseason.
Oh, boy, if you'd asked me this 2 days ago, I'd agree wholeheartedly. And I think, man, oh, man, with his inconsistent pitching and hitting, they just don't seem to be putting it together the right time. But if they'd beat the Rays 2 out of 3. So I'm going to say I could figure. I think they'll lose to the Rays in the championship round.
John McClain joining us, presented by Horn Solutions. John, always a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you guys very much, Landry, John. It's always fun. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. All right. And hike it, Figgy, one more time.
John McClain in rare form here on Sports Radio 610. I think that might be the most leg hikes that we've had.
Well, I'm soaking
over the course of 10 minutes. Good gosh. This dude is watching Sunday Ticket tweeting. That is one of the funniest things I've ever heard. I absolutely love that. Shout out to John McClain. Thanks to Horn Solutions for sponsoring the segment. Coming up, David Coley. He explains his in-game decisions, and a defensive player, he's had enough. He wants to stand up for defensive players everywhere. Plus, the Astros are getting thirsty.
Hey, I'm Peter Bukowski, host of the Locked On Today podcast. Trying to stay on top of every big story in sports is a full-time job. I know, because it is my full-time job. But it's not yours. That's why we have a network of local experts ready to give you the inside scoop on everything you truly need to know in the sports world, and we do it every day to make sure you're always caught up on the latest and greatest in sports. Listen to the Locked On Today podcast every day on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts.
I'm Doc Rivers, and I'm proud to present a new podcast documentary series called It Was Said Sports, where I guide you through 6 of the most impactful and timeless speeches in sports history. Listen and follow It Was Said Sports, a documentary podcast presentation of Shining City Audio, a C13 Originals, and John Meacham Studio. Available now on Odyssey and wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Odyssey's going back to school, and we've got all the supplies you need, like A+ exclusive music stations and podcasts to help you or your student excel. Wake up and get the school day started with Acoustic Sunrise, the best mix of acoustic pop. Hit the books with Classical Odyssey, passionate classical music to help you focus while you study. Listen to essential school podcasts like Grammar Girl's Quick and Dirty Tips for Better Writing, and be inspired with TED Talks Daily. Get back to school with new exclusive stations, plus all your favorite local radio stations and podcasts on Odyssey.
Playing all the hits. These are the hot stories of the day. Brought to you by workformetro.org. You're listening to In the Loop with Houston's sports leader, Sports Radio 610.
All right, David Coley, first-year head coach for the Houston Texans, 1-2, 3 games in. Here are the new coach standings. Brandon Staley with the Los Angeles Chargers, 2-1, could easily be 3-0. Had they beaten the Dallas Cowboys, coming off that win against the Chiefs. Coley is 1-2. Arthur Smith with the Atlanta Falcons, coming off the win over the Giants. He's also 1-2. And then we have 3 winless coaches: Robert Saleh, Dan Campbell, and Urban Meyer. I would say Urban Meyer is probably the biggest disappointment, because I think Jacksonville had a buzz, and he's really kind of looked lost. Robert Saleh, it just seems like they're going through what a lot of teams go through with a rookie quarterback. They might not have as much talent as they hope. Dan Campbell, I know they're 0-3, but there's been a lot of fight in that squad.
I like
Baltimore
what they're
had
doing.
to make a 66-yard field goal to beat them. They came back against the 49ers, had a chance to tie it late after being down 3 possessions. I would say Dan Campbell, despite the 0-3 start, I would say there's some optimism there.
I like what they're doing in Detroit, what he's doing in Detroit. Even the games they've lost, well, not just this past one, but I'm saying even the previous ones, it's been a fight the whole way. I like what Robert Saleh is doing. I think it's a long road for them right now. Urban Meyer is the biggest disappointment. Let's channel our buddy Mike Meltzer right now. Rate these. Obviously, Staley's number 1.
Staley's 1.
And then what? I think
you got to go Coley.
I think I would put Dan Campbell.
I would put Coley or Campbell.
Yeah.
I would say.
Tie.
Just based on the expectations. Urban Meyer's last.
Meyer's last.
Then you got to go Arthur, and you got to go Saleh, although I think Saleh is involved in a process.
I like what they're doing. Yes. And by doing, I'm not saying like on the field on a given Sunday. Like, you can see, I see you working, as the kids like to say.
The other thing is, I think a lot of these other squads, they have, like Dan Campbell has 2 first-round picks. Dan Campbell has DeAndre Swift. Dan Campbell is developing some guys. You're seeing some young guys. Texans don't really have that, and that's what happens when you don't have draft picks. But David Coley right now, second place in the new coach standings. But there are questions about his in-game decision-making, specifically the decision to punt on 4th and 4 past midfield last week. Did something similar in Cleveland, in which he declined a penalty that would have allowed the Texans to try to convert on 3rd down. he declined it. Here's David Culley talking about his in-game decisions up to this point.
Well, I think there's been a little bit of struggle simply because of the kicking part of it. A couple of situations we had where I may have kicked it when I probably didn't kick it, or I didn't go for it when I should have went for it. And I think that it's just me filling it out and just kind of getting a good feel for how we're playing during that particular time.
All right, he says filling it out. I thought this was interesting. This was David Culley talking about John Harbaugh, who's one of the most aggressive coaches when it comes to going for it. This is David Culley talking about conversations he has with John Harbaugh, and you're going to hear our guy John McClain, who was just here, presented by Horn Solutions, kind of have an entertaining back and forth with the Texans head coach after this.
I've talked about it a lot with John because in Baltimore, the 2 years I was there with John, I mean, it was a big deal. You know, the analytics on fourth down was a big deal. And John is one of the guys in this league that basically does a lot of fourth downs, goes for it a lot of times on fourth down. Yeah, we talk about it, but basically once you get to this point, you know, there's charts that people have. But then again, I could just remember sitting down and talking with John, been in staff meetings with John, talking about the analytics and plus the coaching part of it. And in the end, you got to go with what your gut feels. Although regardless, you know that this says that there's a 80% that this works and 60% that this works, but your gut feeling sometimes has to take over as a coach.
I thought if you've got Lamar Jackson, don't you go for it more often? If you got Tyrod Taylor, you go for it.
I may not punt. I wouldn't punt if I had Lamar. I'd go for he'd be my punter, you know.
Lamar who? Didn't he say he didn't say Lamar Jackson? He said Lamar Thomas or something.
Yeah, I took that out.
I thought you brought up a really good point when we were talking about this and listening to this before the show. John Harbaugh is the dude when it comes to analytics, sticking to it, being
and he does
aggressive.
it with or without Lamar Jackson. Let's make that very, very clear.
That's absolutely true.
It is analytics to a T.
So if that's the case,
what are these conversations for?
And you're saying I've had a lot of conversations with John Harbaugh about the analytics. What are you doing? Did you not listen?
That's what that's my point too. Because have you ever had a conversation with someone and you feel like you're really
you're like yeah. Then you do the exact opposite,
and then they do the opposite, and you're like, what do we have that conversation for?
Right. Usually it was when I was a kid.
Because he's not doing what John Harbaugh would do.
No.
Furthermore, they had Tyrod Taylor in Cleveland, and he was playing awesome.
Yeah.
So it's not as simple as it was Davis Mills. It's easy to blame Davis Mills. They did something similar with Tyrod Taylor. So if you're having these conversations, and if I'm supposed to sit here with you and I'm supposed to talk about David Culley and we're supposed to lay out the pros and cons, the cons are obvious.
Yeah.
But if I'm laying out the pros and I say, well, he has all this experience, he's worked with some great head coaches, he's been able to pick the brain of Andy Reid, John Harbaugh, Sean McDermott, who's going to face this weekend, among others.
What's sticking?
What's the point?
Yeah,
what are you picking the brain for? What are you getting?
Right. What's sticking? Are you just saying, nodding your head and saying cool, and then going ahead and doing what you want to anyway? Again, John Harbaugh, when he said that and you were playing it, I was like, yeah, that's not. You're not doing John Harbaugh things.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Now, he might be doing Mike McCarthy things.
Yeah. Actually, almost exactly.
Cowboys win yesterday 41-21 despite another questionable decision when it comes to clock management by their head coach. Peyton Manning yesterday on the Manning Cast on ESPN, not very thrilled with Mike McCarthy's in-game coaching.
Or make Dallas want to call timeout. Dallas needs to call timeout. I don't think they probably don't know if Philly's going to go for it or not, right? You get nervous there. Call timeout, Mike. Call time. He's thinking about it. Why? Is someone in his ear? Does he have the clock management guy saying, "Hey, we can't call it here"? It's not. Well, last week they couldn't see the clock with the Chargers. They couldn't even see the clock, so maybe tonight they can't see it either. They are playing at home, but I guess they're going to be happy with 20-7.
Not happy with it, and Mike McCarthy, after the game, tried to explain it, said he was comfortable with the lead. There was nothing that said comfort on Mike McCarthy's face there, and this is after they settled for a 57-yard field goal because he said he couldn't see the clock. The Dallas Cowboys got a hell of a team on paper. They're actually without one of their starting offensive linemen. They're without their best D end. They're banged up right now, and they're
getting guys back.
Dominated. They could easily be 3-0. They could have beat Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay needed a last-second field goal to beat them. They're a stacked squad, but you don't think they have any chance in hell at winning a Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy at head coach.
You cannot win a Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy. I know he's won a Super Bowl. We had some guy on Twitter. He's won it. Yeah, okay. Aaron Rodgers and all that other stuff. I'm talking about these Dallas Cowboys cannot win a Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy because you can't have a coach that is a deer in the headlights in those moments. The referee, the line judge, was begging him to call a timeout there. And people like Peyton and Eli are pouncing on that 4th and 5 with 50 seconds left. You got to call timeout there. Dude, it was 3rd and 24 with 1:50 left. Think about that. What Madden player, and I don't play Madden.
Madden is a clock management exercise. It is a simulation to where kids know
12-year-old
what to do here.
Madden player. Well, they're facing 3rd and 24, 1:50 left. I got 2 timeouts. Wouldn't call timeout right there.
Hit that
Forget
select
the
button.
4th and 5.
Hit that select button.
Forget that 4th and 5.
EA Sports.
He
to
is,
the game.
and then his explanation afterward was very B.O.B. like. I mean, he is B.O.B. without the. He's B.O.B. without the bipolar disorder, is what he is. His explanation was like not an explanation and sort of talking in circles. His decision making in game in that moment, which it's 20-7, man. You don't know how the second half is going to go.
But you know the one thing, and I know Texans fans aren't going to like to hear this. I don't like to hear it. I don't like to accept it. But the difference between Mike McCarthy and B.O.B. is that Jerry Jones is a better owner than Cal McNair. And allow me to explain. I mean, first of all, it speaks for itself. He's a Hall of Famer. That's that. But Jerry Jones knew that the game had kind of passed Mike McCarthy by when it came to play calling. So he made him take Kellen Moore. He made Kellen Moore the play caller. Mike McCarthy is not calling plays. So he's limiting. He's not doing personnel either. That's Will McClay.
And Jerry and Steven.
And Jerry and Steven doing their thing. So at least in their situation, they have this blowhard who still can screw things up a lot.
Yeah.
But the talent and the fact that he doesn't have his hands in everything allows you to at least have some sort of puncher's chance.
Not really.
Unlike B.O.B.
Not really, because he continues to do things like this isn't a one-off. I mean, he's done this a lot. So Jerry Jones and those guys handle personnel. He doesn't coach offense. He doesn't coach defense. He's got one job. Just keep it between the lines, man. You know, keep it between. Keep it on the short.
Why
grass.
is this hard for guys who've been doing this for like 40 years?
No idea.
It makes no sense.
All he has to do is just keep it in the short grass.
One of the stars of the game yesterday, Micah Parsons, first-round pick that the Cowboys selected. Texans haven't had a first-round pick in a couple of years. First-round picks are what can take your team from one level to another. Mm-hmm. They're asking Micah Parsons right now to play D-end, although he is a linebacker, and he's done a hell of a job. Lane Johnson asked for his jersey yesterday. I mean, that's one of the best tackles in the league that's been doing it for over a decade.
Yeah.
He asked for his jersey yesterday. But Micah Parsons also kind of speaking for all vets despite being a rookie. He thinks that defensive players don't get enough respect. He's tired of defensive players getting chipped. He's tired of defensive players being grabbed. He wants defensive players to be protected like the offensive players are in this league.
You know, I think defensive players need protection too, man. That stuff's bad. That's bad for the game.
Is that a sign of respect that you're getting chipped now?
Man, I don't want no respect if that's what comes with it. I'm good.
Defensive players need protection too. Week 3 has concluded. We'll go on to week 4 at the end of the show. Landry Locker, John Lopez, Figgy Fig with you.
Odyssey's going back to school, and we've got all the supplies you need, like A+ exclusive music stations and podcasts to help you or your student excel. Wake up and get the school day started with Acoustic Sunrise, the best mix of acoustic pop. Hit the books with Classical Odyssey, passionate classical music to help you focus while you study. Listen to Essential School podcasts like Grammar Girl's quick and dirty tips for better writing, and be inspired with TED Talks Daily. Get back to school with new exclusive stations, plus all your favorite local radio stations and podcasts on Odyssey.
You want to know what wagertainment is? It's the picks, the analysis, the information, mixed with the laughter and the entertainment, smart sports betting content that'll put a smile on your face.
The BetQL Network, streaming live each day and helping you bet smarter.
If you're a sports fan, you know why you should listen. It's sports betting content without the BS. No hot takes, no nonsense.
The BetQL Network, streaming live right now on Odyssey.
Sports, bets, and entertainment.
Hey, I'm Peter Bukowski, host of the Locked On Today podcast. Trying to stay on top of every big story in sports is a full-time job. I know, because it is my full-time job. But it's not yours. That's why we have a network of local experts ready to give you the inside scoop on everything you truly need to know in the sports world. And we do it every day to make sure you're always caught up on the latest and greatest in sports. Listen to the Locked On Today podcast every day on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts.
Texans weigh in on the two biggest stories of Week 3. Justin Herbert and the Chargers upset the Chiefs. Here's David Culley talking about Justin Herbert.
Well, I mean, again, Pep could probably answer that a little better than me because Pep had him there last year. I do know that when he came out, obviously he was a heck of a prospect. And with the situation, obviously, if Tyrod hadn't got hurt, he might not have had that opportunity to be able to do what he did, but he got thrown in there and they did a really nice job with him. And that's unusual to have that kind of success that he had with that football team.
John McClain said something that
he said a lot.
I couldn't. The leg hiking was elite. We might have to revisit that a little later on in the show because I need to hike my leg on a lot of McClain's leg hikings. How can he say that in a league where one of the largest markets in the world, Los Angeles, where they've tried so hard to make that a thing, and the NFL is killing right now, how can he say that a Los Angeles Chargers versus Los Angeles Rams Super Bowl in the new LA stadium would not be great for the NFL? How can he say that? Like, am I wrong about this?
No, I was questioning him about that as well. And oh, by the way, it's the Super Bowl.
People might not
ratings
be
will be
interested.
down.
You know how many stars would be out there?
Oh my God!
It's LA.
In LA.
What would the tickets cost,
dude? And if LA turns into a diehard NFL city with everything going on in the NFL, it'd be ridiculous. Like, it's a Lakers town. Like, you go to LA, the Lakers, the Dodgers, they got it.
Yeah.
The NFL hasn't got it. If you have two LA teams in your own backyard, the NFL's already popping. They're hitting records
in
when it
that
comes to ratings.
stadium.
It'll be ridiculous. I would be.
Did you see the stars at just the Tampa game?
How intrigued would you be?
Oh, come
watching
on.
LA and LA, and I don't like.
Maybe at the Chargers games.
I would be pumped.
Yeah, they are.
Mike Tyson was there.
Larry David, you were there. Larry David was there.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
He was at a football game.
He was at the Rams.
He was,
the Rams
yeah.
Tampa game. Yeah,
must have missed that.
I saw Tyson. A bunch of stars were out there, dude. And it's the Super Bowl in L.A. People just like to watch that stuff, man.
Yeah, you're watching the Super Bowl
the
no matter
glitz
what.
and the glamour. No, I'm saying not just that, but like the glitz and the glamour in L.A. and who's going to be there. And imagine like all this.
You're telling me that, and he said no one cares about the Chargers. You're telling me that if a second-year quarterback in Justin Herbert with a young coach in Staley make the Super Bowl, that there's not going to be some bandwagon hopping and maybe some people going all in on it? Yeah, but it's going to go to an extreme level.
Yeah.
This guy's going to become a star. Like, Justin Herbert will become one of the stars of the NFL. He's already en route to it.
Yeah.
You're telling me if he gets to play a home game against the other LA team in LA, that the star power, like the NFL gets another star, they get another NFL crazy city. I was shocked that John McClain was saying that. Shocked. He also had a little pushback on the Patriots, Tom Brady being the most hyped regular season NFL game of my lifetime.
Look, and to me, that's just opinion. So I didn't push back too much on that one, even though the other one was an opinion.
He just pushed back to push back.
Yeah, look, I'm telling you right now that game, you can argue, you can go back to 1990. To be honest, undefeated Giants against undefeated 49ers. You probably don't ever remember that one.
I remember that one.
It was hyped up. It was Joe Montana, Lawrence Taylor, all that stuff. That was
Dolphins, Bears, when
they were undefeated.
When the Dolphins
in
beat
85.
the Bears. Yeah, I remember that. That was good.
Those are some of the most hyped. Obviously, Brett Favre returning them to Green Bay, all that. So I lived these. I was at that Niners Giants game in 1990. I wasn't at that one. But anyway, I lived through these. And I'm telling you, this is probably going to be the most hyped.
Sunday Night Football, too. It's a crazy. Man, I'm so pissed that the Dolphins won that game. I hate them. I hate that popping champagne crap that they do. Speaking of champagne, Astros thirsty for champagne. Magic number down to 2 in the AL West. 3 games with the Rays beginning tonight, then 3 games with the A's, and the playoffs begin.
Are they going to pop champagne?
A week from today. You worried about the Astros winning the AL West?
No, I'm worried about the Astros getting past the first round.
Okay, yeah. I am too.
I legitimately.
I am too.
And
No,
I
am too.
I didn't think I would say that. I mean, we've been talking about, well, it could be a tough matchup here, could be a tough matchup there. No, I'm worried that they are erratic right now.
And the White Sox just they haven't been playing their best baseball. They were playing a lot better early on, but the White Sox just have their rotation, their
and the Astros are kind of scrambling.
It'll be interesting. Tony La Russa versus Dusty Baker. That's going to be an OG showdown of all OG showdowns next week. Probably going to get some day games next week. I cannot wait. Playoff baseball, not much better. Nick Saban's such a dirty SOB. He is a sneaky slime ball.
Why?
Yesterday, he decided to hop on with Peyton and Eli during the game. What ties does Nick Saban to have to any of this? Usually the guests
He's
at
got
least
half
have
the
some
players
ties.
on the field.
What is Nick Saban doing there?
He's got half the players on the field. That's what he's doing.
He was trying to recruit Arch Manning, and he ain't fooling me. That's the only reason Saban went on this. This is dirty recruiting. This is some back and forth between dirty-ass recruiting in front of everybody, Nick Saban, trying to get Arch Manning, the most highly touted quarterback in a long, long time, to go to Alabama. You ain't fooling me, Nick Saban.
Great play by the Oklahoma quarterback. Great play by the Oklahoma quarterback right there, and Jalen Hurts.
Alabama. Oh, that hurts. Hey, please flip him again for that little shot. All right, Jalen Hurts is an Alabama quarterback. Eli, come on, give me a break.
There's not very many guys that ever played college football that went 26-2 as a starter and got replaced by Tua.
That is basically forecasting that Arch Manning can go to Alabama and he can replace the quarterback. That right there is dirty recruiting.
It gets better.
And this is where it gets even worse. Nick Saban, you ain't fooling me, buddy.
At last count, we had like 73 guys on NFL rosters. Not all active, but I'm pretty proud of that. I'm pretty proud of the way these guys, compete and represent, our university and our program.
And then he goes on to say quarterbacks need the most possible talent around
No,
him.
he said, I got it in front of me. He said, any quarterback should, quote, go to the team where he'll be surrounded by the most talent.
Good God.
Well, where's that?
Dirty
I wonder?
SOB.
Where's that?
He is a dirty SOB.
He's
recruiting
smart.
right there
That's
in front
not
of
dirty.
my face. Get the hell out
That's
of
not
here.
dirty.
John Lopez says you shouldn't go to Rockets games.
Yeah.
Tillman Fertitta is going to cuss you out.
I like Tillman Fertitta.
So do I, but
He
why?
listens to the show. He may text me right here.
Exactly. Why are you telling people not to go to Rockets games?
Because they have a partnership now with Whataburger.
What's wrong with that?
I love Whataburger.
Yeah, that's great.
Have you seen the Whataburger mascot? Did you see Picture Day yesterday? Whataburger does everything almost perfectly well, except the mascot.
What in the hell is that?
That thing is terrifying.
What is that?
And what I said is I didn't say don't go to Rockets games. I said don't take your little kids to Rockets games unless you want to deal with nightmares for the next several years.
Dude,
Where did that
is a
thing
creep.
Is that new?
I've never seen this, and I'm really kind of
Figgy, have you seen that Whataburger
There's
mascot?
nothing,
No, I didn't.
There's nothing pure about this.
It's terrifying.
Why is he wearing?
I don't know what it is.
God. Creepy. Landry Locker, John Lopez, Figgy Fig with you. Coming up, the Texans are opening things up for Davis Mills, which could mean he will join the company of first-round picks in his draft class. But that might not be a good thing. Next.
I'm Erin Ryan, political commentator, comedy writer, and host of Crooked Media's Hysteria.
And I'm co-host Alyssa Mastromonaco, former White House Deputy Chief of Staff for President Obama.
Each week on Hysteria, we are joined by a team of hilariously opinionated ladies to discuss the headlines from the serious to the absurd.
We cover everything from reproductive rights to rom-coms and break down the political news of the week and cultural stories that affect women's lives.
New episodes of Hysteria drop every Thursday. Listen on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Odyssey's going back to school, and we've got all the supplies you need, like A+ exclusive music stations and podcasts to help you or your student excel. Wake up and get the school day started with Acoustic Sunrise, the best mix of acoustic pop. Hit the books with classical Odyssey, passionate classical music to help you focus while you study. Listen to essential school podcasts like Grammar Girl's Quick and Dirty Tips for Better Writing, and be inspired with TED Talks Daily. Get back to school with new exclusive stations, plus all your favorite local radio stations and podcasts on Odyssey.
I'm Doc Rivers, and I'm proud to present a new podcast documentary series called It Was Said Sports, where I guide you through 6 of the most impactful and timeless speeches in sports history. Listen and follow It Was Said Sports, a documentary podcast presentation of Shining City Audio, a C13 Originals, and John Meacham Studio. Available now on Odyssey and wherever you listen to your podcasts.